That's right, Cyborg. It's good to be quack. Back. Hello, my fellow Marks, and welcome to this, the season premiere of the Mark Remark, which, much like last week's episode of Monday Night Raw, is exactly the same as every other episode you've seen. We just arbitrarily decided to give it a fancy title. But don't worry, it's still going to be utter shit, just like all the other episodes. My name's Martin, and I don't get butthurt about pro wrestling, I stay butthurt about pro wrestling. This week on Desperate House Cenas, the show kicked off just as scheduled, with Sting taking the form of Bray Wyatt. It seems that Sting sustained so many injuries in his role with Seth Matchings last night at the pay-per-view that he turned into a chubby hillbilly with a god complex. Oh wait, no, that's just Bray Wyatt. Still, I'm sure that Sting will eventually appear on Monday Night Raw to make his huge announcement of hugeness. Bray comes out with the other members of the Monsters, Bound Strawman and Luke Harper's collection of long, unsightly knuckle hair. Somehow the Wyatt family were able to take out the third man selected by Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns, a semi-retired professional wrestler turned podcaster who is smaller than everyone else in the match. The new face of Fair addresses his rival in a straightforward, non-cryptic way. Fucking weird.
I tried to warn you with my words, but apparently I didn't speak loud enough.
More likely that it's because your words never make any fucking sense. Also, since his feud with Brock Lesnar, Roman is still getting used to feuding with people who can actually speak for themselves. Bray Wyatt forgets where he is for a moment and starts reciting his Hercules the Legendary Journeys fanfiction.
I reached up into Mount Olympus and I grabbed the golden idol by his throat and I brought him to his knees.
Personally, I always preferred Xena. Bray Wyatt ends his series of blood-curdling threats with a quote from Ring Around the Rosie.
I tried to tell you that they all fall down.
Bray's next promo will feature verse from Mother Goose and end with him singing You Can Fly from Walt Disney's Peter Pan. Try not to piss yourself, Roman. Speaking of piss, Roman Reigns emerges from the wild grass to challenge Bray. He counters Bray's twisted nursery rhyme with a verse of Bray, Bray, go away, come again another day. Michael Cole is still Michael Cole.
Apparently Roman Reigns is hard of hearing.
Yes, responding to his opponent's challenge and walking to where he is directly in the middle of the ring certainly suggests that Roman Reigns is deaf as a post. Next time wear your hearing aid, Roman. You're obviously very confused. Then something completely unexpected happens. The audience supports Roman Reigns. Now, if only he could hear any of that. Roman tells Bray that Shrek is not love, and Shrek is not life.
Send the biggins back to the swamp.
Bray says that Roman Reigns doesn't deserve him one-on-one, to which Roman responds, ooh, you scared of summit? Before Bray can respond with a well-placed I know you are, but what am I? The crowd gets involved with the schoolyard shenanigans and actually starts chanting. Bray and Roman start kicking the shit out of each other behind the bike shed where the teachers can't see them. Then all of Bray's older mates from the sixth form show up and start ragging on Roman something fierce. Then Dean Ambrose shows up to support his deaf BFF Roman Reigns. JBL compares this feud to cats and dogs.
It's like cats and dogs. Why do they hate each other? He said, who cares? They just do.
Also, Cats and Dogs was a pile of shit that had an unnecessary continuation. Just like this! But what could make this feud even more tepid and uninvolving? Why, the inclusion of Randy Orton, of course. Randy, Dean, and Roman clear the ring of the Wyatt family, setting up for the inevitable Strowman versus Roman fight, a match so intense that it fucking rhymes with itself. The announcers recap the events of Night of Champions, but instead of showing us video footage, they use shitty still images. What kind of a wanker would choose to highlight a physical contest like wrestling with still photos? Clearly someone who has no idea what they're doing. Seth Showings rolls pulls up into the authorities' office and bumps into Corporate Kane, who is all smiles and denies having any knowledge of this demonic Kane character who attacked Seth Rollins last night. I had no idea there was another level of kayfabe within kayfabe. Kane is living the gimmick, while living a completely different gimmick. Kane tells Seth that he'll be facing John Cena tonight in a rematch for the US title, because even though Kane totally isn't a demonic monster tonight, that won't prevent him from sending the TV ratings straight to hell. Neville and the Lucha Dragons are taking on Stardust and the Ascension, and this match causes the announce team to attempt to explain comic books.
And every superhero needs a crime fight buddies, right?
Michael Cole pretending to enjoy comic books, everybody. Let's shame him for it! This is a rematch from last night's kickoff show on the WWE Network, which means that it's ultimately a toss-up as to which match will be watched by less people. Michael Cole and Byron Saxton have a conversation.
Lucha heroes always prevail in the end. I like that, Lucha heroes.
What goes up must come down. High-risk moves that will astound. Trying our best to excite the crowd. Our push has crashed into the ground. Lucha Hero. JBL returns to his role as the WWE's in-house weatherman and explains that the humidity can affect how slippery the ropes are.
Been there, you have a little humidity problem. You have anytime if you have earlier matches, you have a problem with sweat that gets on those ropes.
Good job, JBL. You made a match involving Stardust, Neville, and the Lucha Dragons seem tedious and slow. I even mentioned the ropes being slippery in the first place.
That's why you call it a high-risk maneuver.
Oh. Right. Also because it gives the opponent time to recover, and you risk extreme injury even if you hit the move you're trying to do off those ropes. But no, JBL's absolutely right. It's the humidity that really gets you. The fans chant Cody at Stardust because he was always their favorite character on Sweet Life. Neville demonstrates the sheer ability and technique that comes with several years of intense training, not to mention all the blood and tears he must have shed in the process. Surely the announcers will give him his due for all his hard work.
Man, he is joy to watch, isn't he? He is so much fun.
You know you've made it in your professional wrestling career when the announcers react to you the same way they would a fucking circus clown. Having said that, I think even Doink was put over more than Neville. But here come the Lucha Dragons, and surely the announce team will acknowledge how devastating and thrilling their offense could...
Kalisto! And this young man is fun to watch.
Surely Stardust and his Ascension brethren will be unable to withstand the combined forces of... fun. Watch out, everybody! They brought their own game of Twister! The fun is out of control! The commentary team's precision accuracy refuses to cease.
With a kick from out of nowhere! Ooh. And another one! A human pinball!
Ah yes, the classic game of pinball, which involves lots and lots of kicking. I almost got it confused with pool, the game where you just start punching people and never stop. The human pinballs pick up the win, but really, humidity is the real winner here. It's just so fun to watch! Seth Bumpings rolls into Stephanie and Triple H backstage, and they claim to have no knowledge of Corporate Kane being reinstated. This angle is clearly based on the real-life story of how Vince McMahon completely forgot that he hired half of the WWE roster. Seth describing rolls Corporate Kane.
He's in his cheap suit. He's saying he's the director of operations. He's even got a little mug.
Oh shit! He has a little mug? You'd better take his concerns seriously now, Triple H. A little mug ain't nothing to fuck with. Byron Saxton successfully manages to demean the entirety of last night's pay-per-view in a cheap attempt to get people to watch Monday Night Raw.
Night of Champions is going to be a distant memory real quick the way things are going tonight.
Yes, you see, the pay-per-view is basically a non-issue right now, so you should just watch Monday Night Raw, a show that exists solely to build up to the next pay-per-view, which is ultimately meaningless. So why are we watching wrestling again?
Been there, you have a little humidity problem. You have anytime if you have earlier matches.
Oh right, the humidity. Gotcha. Ryback comes out, and we learn that Raw this week is sponsored by Just for Men Mustache and Beard. Your best beard ever. Your mustache, however, is apparently not worth commenting on. It's a bit shit, actually. Fuck your mustache! Bo Dallas is Ryback's opponent, although you wouldn't know it since this entire segment focuses on Kevin Owens and his feud with Ryback. He also delivers this sage advice.
Don't believe everything you read on the internet, Michael.
But Kev, the internet says you're really, really good. Are you not really, really good? Because that's what the internet says. And since I'm on the internet, does that mean that nobody believes in me? So that's where they put Dolph Ziggler's push. Ryback pins BO, so KO gets PO'd and attacks behind from back. Attacks Ryback from behind. Next, Ric Flair's daughter Charlotte will be celebrating her Divas Championship win. But first, who should come out but Ric Flair's daughter Charlotte's father, Ric Flair? Remember, if you want to get involved in the discussion of this segment, use the hashtag Ric Flair's daughter Charlotte Ric Flair. Rick has a question or two for us.
Do I look like a happy father? Do I look like a proud father?
It may sound like a very emotional speech, but in actuality, Rick is so drunk that he's gone blind and has no idea what he looks like right now.
There are times in a man's life when things happen that are so special.
Oh, Jesus, Ric Flair is about to give the entire WWE Universe the birds and the bees speech. Brace yourselves, because if Space Mountain is anything to go by, we're in for a bit of a rough ride. The crowd is so moved by Rick's speech that they start chanting "Thank you, Rick" in this, a segment celebrating a completely different person. Ric Flair tells us the best way to react when an ex-lover shows up claiming they caught an STD.
I didn't give it to her. She didn't get it because of me.
Ric Flair then introduces Ric Flair's daughter Charlotte, who is accompanied by Ric Flair's daughter's teammates, a bunch of women who aren't related to Ric Flair. Ric Flair's daughter gets on the mic.
I have to compose myself. Me and my dad tend to cry.
That's nothing. I cry whenever Randy Orton and Sheamus are in the ring together. Ric Flair hugs Ric Flair's daughter, but then Paige, no relation to Ric Flair, takes the microphone and tears the Divas Revolution to shreds.
There is no revolution, Charlotte!
Yes, there is no Revolution, Charlotte. They renamed it the Nintendo Wii ages ago. Paige says that Becky Lynch will never be Divas champion because she is the least relevant of all three of them. And if the Divas division is known for anything, it's being extremely relevant.
And then you got the Bellas. We all know the real reason they got to where they are.
I knew it! The Bellas were working with the Mammoths this entire time! How high up does this conspiracy even go? Paige accuses Ric Flair's daughter Charlotte of only having a job in the company because of Charlotte's father, Ric Flair! I didn't even know they were related. Vision of loveliness, Paige floats angelically out of the ring and back to the heavens from whence she came. Then Nikki's sister Brie Bella shows up and challenges Charlotte's daughter Ric Flair to a match. Wait, Brie takes on Cottage Cheese, and JBL expresses his frustrations with the new Sims game.
Throw a celebration and the party ends really rather quickly.
Yes, and sometimes the Sims just pee themselves without warning. Very frustrating. By the way, a wrestling match. Byron Saxton demands to know why the issue with Paige couldn't have been settled privately. You know, like all the best wrestling feuds that were settled behind closed doors where nobody could see them happening. Good job, Byron. Now, while you're on a roll, try describing this submission move.
Way the leg in that.
Brilliant! Brie Bella goes into Brie mode, even though the ring ropes are literally soaking because of all the humidity. Talk about high risk. Eventually, however, Ric Flair's daughter Charlotte makes Brie tap out to Ric Flair's finisher, causing Byron Saxton to remark,
Charlotte is ready for the grind of being the Divas champion.
Wait, the grind? Divas? Clearly they're hinting at the return of Sable. I'm going to post about this on the internet right now.
Don't believe everything you read on the internet, Michael.
Stop ruining my good time, Kevin Owens. Speaking of meaningless internet factoids, the WWE bragged that they have more Facebook followers than any other sports organization. Well, none of the other sports organizations have Booker T. So I guess you're even. Erotic marzipan Mark Henry takes on the team of Sheamus, and everybody's inability to care about anything related to Sheamus.
What does he say? RTH?
Respect the Hawk.
Well, maybe before we RTH, Sheamus should RTFM, because it says we don't have to give a shit about Sheamus. It's right there on page 1. The crowd makes a big deal about Sheamus looking kind of stupid, quite unlike all the other respectable wrestlers who looked totally normal. Michael Cole describes Sheamus the same way that a 6-year-old boy would describe a meal that he doesn't want to finish eating.
I guess you'd call it a beard? Yeah, you would call it a beard, Michael.
He's got things in him.
The announcers then take a short break from criticizing a grown man's facial hair to acknowledge that Sheamus kicked Mark Henry in the face and got the win.
Sheamus still controls his own destiny with that Money in the Bank briefcase.
Well then, could he please make his destiny something a little less shit? Sheamus holds up his briefcase and makes a bold announcement.
As far as I'm concerned, I am the WWE World Heavyweight Champion.
Did I say bold? I meant old. Like, really, really old. Stop it. Triple H and Stephanie meet up with Corporate Kane and demand that he returns what's theirs.
Stephanie, last time I saw the mask, I gave it to you.
Let that be a lesson to you, Kane. Never under any circumstances loan your Jim Carrey movies to Stephanie McMahon. You'll never get them back. Paige is backstage having a natter with Natty, who tells Paige how unprofessional she was acting. This from someone who, within storyline, hasn't shown up to work for months.
The only person that is standing in your way is you.
Wait, does that mean there are 2 Paiges? Oh my god. Okay, I'm awake. JBL is very happy to see the New Day.
Get your clapper out, boys!
Little too happy there, JBL. We learned that this month, WWE Hell in a Cell, the pay-per-view, will be presented by WWE 2K16, the video game. A game that allows you to take on the role of Stone Cold Steve Austin as he advances through his storied career, with such gameplay options as pressing X to throw a tantrum when asked to do a job to Brock Lesnar, and a mini-game where you host a podcast every week and talk endlessly about being stuck in LA traffic. WWE 2K16. You'll buy it because you have no other options. Xavier Woods claims that the WWE medical team had to remove this piece of wood from between his buttocks. Shortly after these claims were made, the WWE released a YouTube video consisting of nothing but footage from the pay-per-view match in question, zooming in on Xavier Woods' butt to prove nothing was actually wrong. Wait, no, that's an entirely different childish situation. The New Day channeled Donald Trump.
We must build a wall around Dudleyville, a strong wall, a high wall, a great wall, a beautiful wall.
Yes, we tried that, but it turns out that the Jaeger program is much more efficient at dealing with the Dudley menace. Madoka Magica fangirl Rusev comes out accompanied by Summer Rae, and JBL comments on the wrestler's sensitive side.
He's a super athlete, but he has a soft heart. These guys don't even have a heart.
You haven't lived until you've seen The Wizard of Oz with the Dudley boys playing the Tin Man. The rather awkward moment at the end where they powerbomb the Wicked Witch of the West through a table. All you had to do was chuck a bit of water onto her, guys. Unnecessary. Dolph Ziggler is really excited to be introduced by Lillian Garcia. One of the most entertaining feuds currently happening in the WWE, that being the feud between Xavier Woods and the Art of Music, is totally eschewed by the announce team in favor of talking about the bullshit soap opera drama happening between Rusev and Dolph Ziggler.
Last night, whether or not the earrings that Summer Rae, I don't know why I bother.
Yes, Michael Cole, why do you bother? Please, by all means, stop bothering. Stop it. Speaking of Michael Cole and bother, he proves just how alert he is when Xavier Woods plays Rusev's theme on his trombone for a good long minute.
This is Rusev's theme, guys.
I think you might be right about that. Summer Rae gives Xavier Woods' trombone a good tugging. And somehow that isn't a euphemism. And Michael Cole's alertness continues unabated.
Lana Moya! Lana is mine! It's gonna be never be yours! You understand me? Lana is mine! Lana is mine!
told you, Rusev's obsessed with Lana.
The Dudleys prove that they can still be relevant in the year 2015 by doing the "What's Up" gag from a 1999 Budweiser commercial. And then Rusev gets the win after Xavier Woods distracts Dolph Ziggler by blowing one off in his face. That's also not a euphemism. Calm down. JBL attempts to explain how the Chow Garden worked in Sonic Adventure 2.
You gotta be at the garden to understand the garden.
Natalya faces Naomi, whose outfit looks like it was harder to get into than an Eva Marie promo. Meanwhile, Paige watches the match on a TV monitor while standing at an unnatural 90-degree angle so that we can see her tits. I know that's why I look at the screen from a weird 90-degree angle. JBL knows how to become champion.
You win a championship, you're out there by yourself. You don't become part of a team. You become part of a team if you want to sing around and sing Kumbaya with somebody.
Ah yes, just like the Four Horsemen, who were known only for their influential cover of Kumbaya that revolutionized campfire singing the world over. Natalya puts her face into Naomi's ass. And that's also not a euphemism. Neither is it a finisher. But try telling that to the WWE. Seth begs Triple H and Stephanie for aid in the Kane situation, but it turns out they want to do literally nothing. And yet somehow, them doing nothing at all has taken up more than half an hour of television time. Speaking of wasting everybody's time and energy, it's
The Big Show!
You know, somehow I missed that. The announce team hype up the upcoming Brock Lesnar Go to Hell tour, which starts in New York and ends in Los Angeles. Yes, if I was looking for a portal to hell, those two places are exactly where I'd start looking. Cesaro comes out and is once again totally unable to connect with the fans, because he's from a place that's not this place. JBL has an interesting theory as to how to defeat the Big Show.
The only way to beat a giant, you chop him down.
I'll get the axe. Cesaro and Big Show have a hard-hitting, in-your-face bout, which causes JBL to start talking about that one time he played golf.
I played golf with him one time. His hand was too big to fit into the golf hole to get the ball out. He literally had to have a putter with a suction cup on it to stick it inside out and get the ball out of the hole because his hand was too big.
How are you giving more detailed commentary on a golf match you once had compared to the actual wrestling match you're supposed to be commenting on that's happening right in front of you? Cesaro spends a good 5 minutes trying to suplex Big Show, and he eventually succeeds, which is a remarkable achievement. And then Big Show stands up immediately and punches Cesaro in the face and wins, disappointing every single Cesaro fan that does not exist categorically. Don't look for them. Big Show gets on the mic and in a bizarre show of continuity brags about beating Brock Lesnar at Survivor Series 2002. Having said that, you were also beaten by a golf ball. So there's that.
There's no way my big ass is going to Suplex City. How about that?
Yes, but only because they have strict laws there about transporting 7-foot piles of shit through their city limits.
He's going to think he's in hell when I'm done with him.
Well, that's no big deal. Most people think that they're in hell after they experience a Big Show match. We are in hell, right? This is hell? Satan? Okay. The Wyatt family redux are back in full effect, and Luke Harper says something so scary, we're not allowed to hear what it is.
Music says he hears voices in his head.
Then the terrifying brown snowman has this terrifying thing to say.
I caught a snake once.
Terrifying stuff! Bray Wyatt ends this trilogy of terror with yet another twisted nursery rhyme.
They all fall down, Randy.
Speaking of falling down, the WWE's ratings as soon as this main event happens. Seth Rollins takes on an internet meme for the US title in a match so predictable that even Chriswell would look at you and go, duh. JBL runs his nickname for John Cena into the fucking ground.
Big match John. He does one thing extremely well, and that is win big matches.
Yes, that's all he does well. Everything else he's total shit at. Finger painting, he's shit. Horse riding, he's shit. Translating ancient Hebrew texts, he's shit. Small matches, he's shit. Big matches, on the other hand, he's right at home there. Byron Saxton highlights how redundant this main event is, while also trying to make it sound exciting.
How lucky are we to get this match 2 nights in a row?
Almost as lucky as we are to have the same exact authority segment every single fucking week. I feel like the luckiest boy in the world. Seth Rollins puts John Cena in the crippler. Why do I even bother? Both men go for each other's finishes multiple times, and it's neck and neck, and even the announcers are getting into it.
They're leaving their hearts in the ring.
Oh hey, the Dudleys could use those. I could tell you who won the match, but instead of doing that, let's put it to a vote. In the comments, put, to everyone's surprise, blank won the match, and then fill the blank with whoever you wish had won this match. We'll announce the winner next time, and hey, maybe it could even be a surprise, unlike the actual result. Blah blah blah, big match John blah blah.
John Cena finds a way to win a big match. Big match John is the best big game performer I have seen in my entire life.
Blah blah JBL. Blah blah. Byron Saxton compares Terraria to Minecraft.
That is a whole new kind of digging deep.
Then Corporate Kane appears on the Titantron, joining such other famous terrifying giant faces as Andros and Dr. Kawashima. However, Kane's brain training doesn't involve the colors blue or green. Just red. And it turns out that the portal to hell was here the entire time. Who would have thunk? And Kane pops out of it and drags Seth down into the depths with him. It's a truly horrifying moment, and who knows what dark deeds Kane is doing to Seth under... Oh, they're just getting high. Really high. I guess Wiz Khalifa would be proud of them, I don't know. Speaking of getting very high, I have to go get ready to watch next week's edition of Monday Night Raw. And judging by the dirt sheets, it looks like it could be a very entertaining episode.
Don't believe everything you read on the internet, Michael.
Well, fuck.